Guys, good morning. Welcome back to part 2 of this video series where I'm planting up this little corner in our garden. So let me recap real quick what I did in the first part. First of all, this used to be our rose garden. It kind of still is. We're going to be working on it in small, manageable chunks. This corner in particular was getting way too much shade and the roses were not happy. And so we planted the Crimson Queen Japanese maple right back here, and then 3 Tough Stuff AHA hydrangeas, which I've been really enjoying, and I placed this bird bath from Henry's Studio. So in today's video, I'm going to kind of finish off the area. So I've got some hostas here. These are coast to coast hostas, beautiful bright color, and they get quite large. I think it's going to be gorgeous. I'm also planting this arborvitae. This is called a tiny tot. This one is going to be out next year actually, and I'm so excited about it because I really like formal gardens. You guys know this if you've watched our videos. These grow only 12 to 24 inches tall and wide, so this is pretty much full grown, and they grow in this natural globe shape without being pruned. So I love boxwoods, and I would have them everywhere in my garden, but they do require maintenance because they'll get kind of woolly looking, and you need to go in and kind of shape them up so that they look tighter. That's my style anyway. So to have something that I can plant here that gives you that formal look without having any maintenance is awesome. And I know it looks kind of funny in the front of this bed. If you back up kind of a little bit and look at the whole area, there's this walkway that goes up to our back sun porch door. So I'm flanking the walkway with these 2 evergreens kind of as my anchor. So when I was initially planning out this corner, I was actually thinking, okay, what is this gonna look like in the winter? What can I put Christmas lights on? And I didn't really have anything. So I decided to add these 2 in. I think it's going to be really sweet. And then the eventual plan, so the future, I want to come in with lavender on both sides of the sidewalk and do just a long row of lavender on either side, and then finish them off with another couple of tiny tot arborvitaes on either end. So I think it's going to be that'll be my formal touch over here. That'll be kind of my unifying design, and then I can back plant it with all kinds of pretty things. So what I want to do is get these things in the ground, show you what it looks like, kind of explain how they're going to grow, and then I'm going to add in a few little annuals for extra color. So let's talk real quick about each one of these plants and how they'll grow and fill in this area, starting with the tiny tot arborvitae. So like I said, it grows about 12 to 24 inches tall and wide, so it's pretty much full grown, and I shouldn't need to prune on it ever, which is amazing. Zone 3 through 7, so very winter hardy, and I think it's going to look super cute in the winter with little white Christmas lights on it, especially because I'll have one on the opposite side of the sidewalk. It'll look really uniform and cute. As far as fertilizing goes, usually I'll toss some fertilizer on early spring and then maybe once more later on in the season. In most areas, I'd recommend that you use like a real neutral fertilizer like a Spoma Plantone. I use a Hollytone, which is more of an acid-based fertilizer, but that's only because we have crazy alkaline soil. So unless you know that you have really high pH, I would use just Plantone on something like this. So let's move back to the hostas and talk about those. So this is a coast to coast hosta. So the first thing that I wanted in this area was a bright pop, and this is definitely bringing that bright color because it's got super kind of yellow gold leaves, very heavily ridged and really thick. I think this is just such a beautiful plant, and they get quite large. So it'll grow about 28 inches or so tall, and then it'll spread out about 3 feet. So that's about 1.5 feet from the center. So, you know, about this big. That's a pretty good sized perennial right there. And I think it'll be a really good step down from the hydrangeas because these do grow a bit taller, as is the Crimson Queen Japanese maple. I'll be kind of cutting the branches up a little bit so that the hosta right behind me will kind of fit right underneath that dark colored red foliage. I think it's just going to be so pretty. These are a zone 3 through 9, and they also attract hummingbirds. Their blooms do. So they throw these blooms up in summer, and they do match the color of the hydrangeas really well. And I know that a lot of people don't grow hostas. Well, I don't grow hostas for the bloom. In fact, a lot of times I will pop them off because I like just the look of the foliage, but that's totally up to you. I think I could be done at this point. I could throw some mulch in and just enjoy it, watch them grow. But like I said, I did leave some space right here to plant a row of lavender. Now, I don't think I explained the light in this area. So it gets a really good strong block of morning sun, enough to keep lavender happy, enough so that the hydrangeas stay blooming and performing nicely. But this area on my right, it would look amazing if I could, you know, take off with lavender down that way as well, but it's actually quite shady. So while I'm waiting to decide on what perennial I want to plant over there, and while the plants are smaller, I've decided to pop a few annuals in here just for some extra color. And it's something that's totally not necessary, but it's something that really makes me happy to do. And then if I do happen to get a hold of some lavender, I'll just pop out whatever plants I have here and just move them back. So anyway, I've got a couple of gorgeous annuals I'm going to go grab, and I'll show them to you. Got all the rest of the plants in and the mulch, and I think it looks so pretty. I'm so excited about this area, especially because it was just fun to tackle a small spot instead of tackling this entire area, because that would have been a whole lot more work, taking a whole lot more plants, and now I can have some time to think about the rest of it. So until I get my lavender to fill in this side, and then until I decide what I want right here, I'm using the Hippo Rose polka dot plant, which is a new one to me. I've never grown it before. I've grown the old-timey varieties of polka dot plants as house plants. In fact, this one is a really great house plant. You could dig these up before the first frost and winter them over inside if you wanted to do that, and they do great. And you can use these in sun or shade. So it's perfect for this spot. Since it kind of gets a little bit different light, I think that they'll do really, really well. So they grow about 16 to 22 inches tall, so I really expect them to fill in this area and just be a nice weight to this area. Lots of color. It looks like this whole area is in full bloom, even though this is just foliage. And then kind of tucked in around the back, I've got some Endless Flirtation Browalia. In fact, let me come right over here. You can really see it in this spot. So this is a beautiful shade-loving annual, and it's got these really sweet white blooms in it. And I kind of on purpose put it out toward or out away from the hydrangeas so that it wasn't too much. It didn't look like too much of a fluffy texture with the blooms on the hydrangea and the blooms on this. I kind of want them to be separate a little bit. These will grow about 12 to 16 inches tall, which I think will be great. You see this area from almost every single direction. So I think it's just gonna all grow, fill in, and just be beautiful. Another wonderful thing about these annuals, both of them, is that they're both heat tolerant, and that's great for me because I live in a very hot climate. In fact, as I was planting the Hippo Rose, I thought, you know what? This would be a perfect area for heuchera. Like some beautiful bright color of heuchera would be great in here, and then it would be something that would come back every single year. But now I have a year to kind of, look at different varieties, decide what I want to put here. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful, kind of seeing this little blank slate area, this kind of square area with nothing in it, and just seeing kind of how I built it, kind of how I did my layers. So it's just kind of a process. It's a process for me, and I hope you enjoyed seeing it all come together. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.